Hey, what's going on, folks? Welcome back to the Real Legend of Gaming. We are back with some Clash Royale, folks, and in this episode today, we will be going over a Goblin Giant deck that you can use for this weekend's event, along with challenges. So let's check it out, folks. Alright, folks, so here goes the deck. It consists of the Goblin Giant, the Miner, the Night Witch, your minions, your minion horde, Fireball, Zap, and Goblin Gang. So it's basically a hybrid bait deck because you can bait out either the Fireball or you can bait out the Zap. Whichever you're able to accomplish during the match, the ideal push would be the Goblin Giant, the Night Witch, and then once you get both to the other side of the bridge, play your Miner. As far as defense, you're going to be using your Miner for defense if you have to, because you don't have a log, so you got to use it to defend against Princess. You're also going to be using your Fireball. As far as countering, you're going to use your Minion and your Goblin Gangs along with your Zap and your Night Witch as well, right? Because you got to defend against Hog Riders and stuff. And then your Minion Horde you will save for your tank. So in this challenge here, it works out great because you'll be using it a lot on top of the Goblin Giant. And I've actually seen a lot of people use Rascals as well, so it works out very good because you can actually get a really sick trade-off. One of the replays I am going to show you, somebody had a Goblin Giant Mega Knight deck, so imagine how much elixir we won on that trade, right? So we're going to show you 3 replays in this video. The first 2 will be against pretty popular bait decks as well. Reason why I chose that is because the reality is that a lot of people like to play bait decks. More strategic, easier to use and upgrade those cards. So, it's very meta. And then the last replay, I'm going to show you against a counter to this deck, which consists of the Executioner, and it also has the Mega Knight. So we're able to, be up against a tough match in that replay, but I think we did pretty good in getting the win and coming back from behind as well. All right, so let's get into these replays, folks. Now, like always, I'll give you my disclaimer. These decks here are for people that are less skilled, as skilled, or more skilled than myself, all right? So it's decks for everybody, easy to use, and I hope that it's successful for everybody who watches the video. We've been picking up a lot of subscribers over the last couple weeks, so appreciate all the support, folks, and I'm glad you guys are enjoying the content. Always remember, if you want something to be covered on the channel, feel free to drop a comment down below. We could do different type of decks, different archetypes. We can do 2v2. Whatever guys you want to see, I'm cool with doing that. All right, so let's get into these replays, folks. All right, here goes the first replay. Now, this is going to be against a very interesting Goblin Barrel deck. As you can see, it has the clone there. So it could be very dangerous if you're not careful with it. And since you're playing Goblin Giant a lot of times in this deck, because it is one of the main pushes, you got to be careful not to overextend on Elixir, because you can get burned on a case where they play opposite lane with the Goblin Barrel or something. So what I do like about this deck too is it cycles pretty well. So the Miner you can use also to tank for your other support cards. So it kind of has a lot of elements to it, right? It can be a Miner control deck, and it can also be, a Goblin Giant beatdown deck. So it's a pretty good deck. All right, so right there you saw we used the Mini Horde on the Goblin Giant. They also used Tornado, so we ended up winning on that exchange, and we didn't really lose a lot of damage. All right, so now we're starting Wild Push, which is the Goblin Giant, Night Witch. Now look on the other side. I used a lot of elixir there, and luckily I had the Zap to stop that, but I would have got burned, right? So my best recommendation is, right, being that you want to do the push with the Goblin Giant and the Night Witch, you could actually wait for your Goblin Giant to get closer to the bridge, and then drop the Night Witch like a few spaces behind. That way, if you have to defend the opposite lane, you still have some elixir to use, and leave your Goblin Giant roaming alone on the other side, right? A lot of times, your opponent's going to focus on their push, so your Goblin Giant will get some damage done on its own, so it's not a wasted, push, and you can always support it with another card once you're able to stop your opponent's push on the opposite lane. So it's just some tips that I noticed from watching these highlights. So you saw the setup worked very well. Right there, they did the clone again. But we felt pretty good for what was going on. We played the minions. And now we dropped the Night Witch a little later bit in the push. So it worked out a lot better. So, you know, that's another thing too. When you're playing, you can learn from your first mistakes and recover and be fine, right? You know, everybody's going to make a mistake when they play. Tons of pros that are super good do have their off days and make mistakes. But it's all how you recover and adjust. And we did that and we got the 3 crown. So now we're going to show you another replay. Now, this one is against another bait deck. But it's more traditional, right? The other one's a little off meta, right? Because it had the clone spell in it. But this one here is a pretty tough one. All right, so we're both playing Goblin Giants from the back. It's really the ideal way to play this card, especially a 6 elixir. You want to give yourself time to build up again. So notice that we're not playing anything. We waited till it got to the bridge. Now we play the Night Witch. So it gives us an opportunity to defend. Now remember, we don't have log, so you're going to use the Goblin Gang 1 to stop the Goblin Giant, but look how we use the Miner here. We use it defensively and like a sneak assassin, right? Was able to get hits in, and now it's tanking for the, you know, goblins that have the spear, along with the goblins that can attack the tower directly. And also we did damage on the right-hand side. I didn't even mention that. Fireball the rascals. We used the minions to clean up the rest. That Ice Spirit did save them a bit. Got them another hit with the Rascal brother. Oh, the big Rascal. I don't know what they called. And now we can just sit back and let our count build up. We're looking good. We got 1 tower down to 843. And then the other one's halfway done. Alright, so now we'll play our mini horde. We can take out the princess. And we're going to take out the Goblin Giant. There we go. All right, now we got to defend. So we're looking good on elixir. So we'll start a push with the Goblin Giant, and then now we're going to defend on the left. So we'll zap. And actually, it wasn't a good move because we overextended a little bit. We didn't give ourselves enough to defend on the left. And I'm actually glad that came up because it proves my point what I made earlier. Nonetheless, we are down, but the Miner tanks for the bats, and we're golden. Now, they got a little aggressive there with the Rascals, which is Fireball. And then we'll zap Goblin Barrel. And they try to do it again now with the Goblin Giant. We use our minion horde. They drop down the poison. We throw out our Goblin Gang to the side. And now we're able to defend against that push. So they're being very aggressive here. They want to go for the win. Just got to be patient and play your push the way you need to, right? Fireball again. You know, rinse and repeat, right? It is what it is, right? A lot of this stuff is like repetitive. It becomes second nature once you continue to play it over and over. We use the 3 minion to take out the princess. And then on the opposite lane, we got the bat and the Goblin Giant doing their thing with the Miner that we snuck in. And there you go. Miner was able to tank again for the Spirit Goblins and the minions. All right, here goes the last replay. And this is against the deck that I felt was a counter to mine. It has the Dark Prince, Electro Wizard, Mega Knight, and Executioner. So we played 3 elixir minions in the back. They zapped them. Played Miner, see if they could tank a little bit for the minions. And they dropped down the Mega Knight. So now we have to worry about a pretty tough card. So we played the minion horde naturally, right? And they played the Executioner and just wiped us out. At that point, we were overwhelmed, right? The Night Witch did what she could. Got rid of the Mega Knight. But Executioner was able to sweep up those bats, and we used the Goblin Gang. So we defended, but we lost a lot of HP on that push. And here goes the Dark Prince. We don't have logs, so we're not going to be able to knock them back. Only thing we can use is the mini horde, the minions, and the zap spell to try to get what we need accomplished. And there goes E-Wiz on top of our minions, so we lose them again. So this time we use the Miner to defend against the E-Wiz. And now we just got to defend against these guards. Now Now, we got a little aggressive there because we knew that they had the zap spell out of rotation. But Executioner came again and just sweeped everything up. And then Fireball. So it bought us a little bit more time. There goes the minions again. And we lose the tower. So you guys can see, I show you all kinds of replays. Just so you guys can learn, right? So this here, we got overwhelmed. This was a pretty tough deck to go up against. All right, so now we just focus, right? We're not out of the game. I never think we're out of the game until it's over, right? So they made a mistake here, and we're going to capitalize. So they actually mirrored the Goblin Giant. So it allowed us to play the Goblin Giant and the Night Witch alone on the right-hand side. And now we're just going to defend with our minions and our goblins. And we're doing that. And notice that our Goblin Giant and Night Witch got the tower already on the other side. Now we started up the push again on the left side, and we still got a Night Witch on the other side rolling. And we got the victory there. All right, folks, so there you have it. That is the deck. Again, it's Goblin Giant, Miner, Night Witch, Minion Horde, Fireball, Zap, and Goblin Gang. It can function as a Miner control deck, can function as a cycle deck, can also function as a Goblin beatdown deck. So, folks, I hope this deck helps you throughout the weekend so that you can clear through the events that are going on. And I hope that, you guys at some point do unlock the Goblin Giant. I'm sure he's going to get a buff and will be much more better to use inside decks, all right? So I appreciate the support always. Other than that, everything else is gravy. All good, folks. Thank you. Peace out.